The moment I stepped onto the front porch of the beautiful house I had spent 6 years working overseas to buy for my mother, I expected tears, hugs, and the surprise of a lifetime. Instead, a woman I barely recognized opened the door, looked me over from head to toe, and casually told me that the maid was working in the backyard. My heart froze because this was my house, and the only person who should have been there was my 66-year-old mother. I walked through the front door without saying a word, feeling like a stranger inside a place that existed only because of years of sacrifice. The family photos had been replaced, my father's picture was gone, and everything about the home felt unfamiliar. When I reached the backyard, I found my mother on her knees, wearing a black apron and scrubbing the patio so my brother's wife could host a dinner party. She had undergone knee replacement surgery only months earlier, yet she was being treated like hired help in the very home I had bought to give her peace. 8 years earlier, after my father died and left behind crushing medical debt, I promised myself my mother would never struggle again. I accepted a demanding ICU nursing contract in the Middle East, leaving behind my family, missing holidays, funerals, and even losing the man I planned to marry. Every exhausting shift brought me one step closer to paying off the debt and saving enough money to buy my mother the home she had always dreamed about. I secretly purchased the house in my own name, planning to transfer it into a protected trust for her later. When my brother lost his job and his house, my mother begged me to let him and his wife stay there temporarily. I agreed with only one condition. My mother would always remain the lady of the house. Unfortunately, temporary slowly became permanent. During my visits through video calls, I noticed my mother growing quieter and more exhausted, but my brother always claimed she simply enjoyed staying busy. Unknown to me, he and his wife had gradually taken over every part of her life. They moved her from the master bedroom into a tiny room beside the laundry, gave her daily chores, controlled her phone, collected hundreds of dollars from her monthly Social Security check, and even used her credit card for their own shopping. My mother's beloved rose garden had been pushed aside so they could redesign the backyard for themselves. Still, she refused to complain because she did not want to ruin the career I had sacrificed everything to build. The moment I arrived unexpectedly, the truth became impossible to ignore. My mother whispered that I should not upset anyone because they disliked surprises. Hearing her speak with fear inside her own home broke something inside me. I quietly searched through her belongings and found an application for a senior apartment where she planned to move with nothing more than 2 flower pots because she believed she was a burden. That discovery hurt even more than seeing her scrub the patio. Instead of confronting my brother immediately, I drove my mother to the bank where I uncovered 14 months of suspicious withdrawals and unauthorized spending from her accounts. Together we froze the accounts, opened new ones, changed emergency contacts, canceled old permissions, and met with our longtime attorney. That afternoon, we completed every document needed to protect my mother forever. The house was transferred into a legal trust, giving her lifetime rights to live there without anyone being able to sell or claim it. My will was rewritten, removing my brother entirely after everything he had done. My attorney prepared legal notices, ending my brother's permission to live in the property, and drafted repayment papers for every dollar they had taken from my mother. That evening, the dinner party my sister-in-law had organized became something she never expected. In front of friends, neighbors, and members of my mother's church, my brother proudly spoke about family and the home they had built together. When he finished, I calmly placed the property deed on the table and asked him to read the owner's name aloud. The room fell completely silent as he realized the house had never belonged to him or my mother. Every payment, every mortgage installment, and every legal document carried only my name. I then revealed the trust protecting my mother, the financial records showing thousands of dollars taken from her accounts, and the legal notices requiring all 3 occupants to leave that very night. My sister-in-law screamed. My brother tried blaming everyone else, and his mother-in-law insisted families should never treat each other this way. Then I quietly reminded them that they had forced a 66-year-old widow to clean bathrooms, sleep beside a washing machine, and serve guests in her own home. The neighbors who had witnessed everything stood beside my mother instead of them. Faced with undeniable evidence, my brother signed the repayment agreement while a locksmith replaced every lock in the house before the night ended. When the front door finally closed behind them, silence returned for the first time in over a year. My mother carried her belongings back into the master bedroom where she truly belonged. We replanted her roses in the sunniest part of the yard, exactly where she had always dreamed they would grow. Today, she spends her mornings caring for those flowers instead of serving anyone else. My brother makes his monthly repayments, but trust cannot be rebuilt as easily as money can be returned. Looking back, I realize protecting someone is not only about earning enough to provide for them. Sometimes real love means standing in the doorway, holding the right legal papers, and refusing to let anyone take away the dignity of the person who sacrificed everything for you.